here we are, middle of the day, sunny, breezy Saturday. As you can probably tell, our flag is straight out. Not quite as strong as the winds were yesterday, but it's a little blustery, so I won't be going up on the roof today, that's for dang sure. But one little project I have decided to take on while we're waiting for a couple of things to do over at the tent for our little presentation. We've got a Q&A coming up in a little bit, but I've talked with a couple other guys and they have done this mod, and it's a very simple one. It's actually just removing the board on the back of the fridge right at the top there to increase airflow. And the fans work so hard, when you've got a hot day and the sun's beating on it, it just makes the fans work that much harder. And we'll see when we remove that. I've already taken readings on the inside, so should be something to see. Yeah, it's been underperforming for the last couple of years, and we finally realized why.
So when we were in Spruce Grove, it started to get around the 30 plus degrees, kind of to the mid 30s Celsius. And Brent came up with a little solution that he had heard other people talking about to try and help cool our fridge down just a little bit. Here's some clips on those.
Okay, well, here I am. As you can see, here we are looking at the top of the fridge section. The piece of board that I pulled out came halfway up these vents. So whenever the fridge needed to cool down, it would pull cold air from below, from this vent, and it would try and pull it up through here and push the cooler air through the fins here. And then it would circulate up and then come back down out the vents. So the wood was covering right up to here. It was just held in place by 4 little screws, 2 on each side. All I had to do was basically just crack the board a little bit, and one piece came out, and then I spun it sideways, pulled the rest of it out, nice and easy. And now we'll see how often these fans kick in, and maybe, just maybe, my freezer will freeze ice cream, hopefully. But yeah, it freezes everything else, no problem. But ice cream just needs a cooler temperature to actually solidify. So that's all been taken care of, and I'm just going to leave the vents off for a little bit as we're in the shade here. Still a little bit breezy. That will take care of the cooling of the fans or fins or whatever you like. And I'm going to go inside in a half an hour and check, see what my temperature is sitting at on the fridge. It was sitting at 43 when I came out. Hopefully with this happening and it being in the shade and the fans not even having to come on, I'm hoping it's going to hit probably 38 or 40. And that 5 degrees will make a huge difference. It'll save power, it'll keep the food cooler, and everything looks good. And just so you know what I took out, it's just this piece of particle board, and that's some good scrap.
When we left Spruce Grove, we didn't get a break on temperature at all.
Oh, it was nasty hot.
Yeah, we went to Golden and it was about 40 degrees by the time we got there.
To Golden, yeah, we were at 40, 41 Celsius.
And Then from there we went to Vernon, where it got even hotter.
Yeah, 46 Celsius, which worked out to just under 115 Fahrenheit. Nasty hot, stinky hot.
And I mean, I couldn't even get cold water out of the taps. Here's some thoughts on that.
Our cold water was
hot.
Yeah, hot water.
It was hot water. We didn't need to use our hot water tank. No way of cooling it down. Here's some clips on that. Our thermostat is reading 36. Got the AC on as high as it's gonna go. It's on high. It's been running for hours. When we first came in from outside, it was not bad. The fridge went up a degree, Brent. I'm sure everything is unthawing and stuff in there. Then we went to Headley, where we had a large group of people. We got to give them all our chicken that had unthawed. We weren't able to eat all that.
Yeah, the fridge unthawed everything, or the freezer unthawed everything, so we had to either give it away or let it rot.
Yeah, and we had lumpy milk, and it was just not fun.
Oh, well.
So we had a little bit of a casualty as far as the trailer went, and that was our fridge. It went up every day, little by little. Usually we sit around 35 degrees, that's Fahrenheit, and everything's fine. Things freeze like they should in an RV fridge and freezer.
Milk doesn't go bad.
Yeah, when I went to have milk on, that was in Golden, and I went to have milk in my tea. No, I was gonna make a scrambled eggs. So I poured some milk into the bowl and it was a little lumpy, so I wasted 2 eggs. So that's when we realized that we had a problem. And so we put our milk, after we bought it, into one of our coolers. It was just full of ice, and Brent bought an extra styrofoam cooler. Fridge got all the way as hot as, I want to say it was over 60 at one point, but 58 degrees was the solid.
The highest I remember seeing was 58. It may have hit 60, but that's just too hot. Everything in our freezer thawed.
Except for those turkey.
Oh yeah, except for the turkey patties, or turkey tubes.
It's the tubes of ground turkey that we got. We had tons of chicken breasts that we'd bought at a meat sale. We ended up giving, they weren't bad, they were just unthawed. They were cold. So we ended up giving them to Joe and said, just cook them, give them away. Find people who will eat them.
It was 10 pounds of chicken breast. It was just, couldn't eat it all in one setting.
Yeah, so we just gave it away.
One thing we did try and do, or I did try and do, on the back of the fridge, if you want to take a look up here, there's this is where it vents in, and that's where the compressor is. It blows out across those fans and the fins up top, and from factory there's a board across there. There was a few guys at the Spruce Grove campout that had removed theirs, so I thought I'd give it a try. Couldn't hurt because the fridge was already climbing and wasting our food. So if it comes back down to a normal temperature and sets there, I may keep the board out, I may put it back in. I'm still undecided on that, but I do have 4 exhaust fans in there, and I'm just finally coming down now that we're actually below 30 degrees Celsius for 2 days straight. Shh, stuff happens.
So then we got home and we gave Travelland a call and we said, come fix our fridge.
This is a continuance of our fridge issues that we've been having, starting in Spruce Grove when the temperature hit around 40 Celsius. There was a lot of wind, so one thing that some people were doing was, like I said, I took out that board that was on the back of the fridge, and you can see the fans right there, and it was basically sealed all the way up to those fins on the top of the fridge. Our fridge did get up to 58 degrees, which basically melted everything, or thawed everything in the freezer. So the fridge is slowly coming back online. It's dipped down to 38. Right now it's sitting around 43. I'd like it in the 37, 38 range for a regular basis. We've been home for a little bit and it's still having issues. What I've done, I've also put a little fan on the bottom here to basically blow a little bit of air and try and circulate it. Now, one other thing that I'm going to try, I'm going to put a board back in there on the top part which it's basically just a little sheet of wood, 1/8 thick, so it'll fit in there nice and neat. And I'm actually going to attach it to the exterior venting, the plastic vents that are on the back of the fridge. So when I pull that out, I can have easy access to the fans that are in there or any other issues that may arise. Well, I finished the install on this upper unit of the back of the fridge, and I've got it held in with 4 screws, as you can plainly tell, or 4 bolts with nuts on the back. I was going to go to the 4 corners, but at the bottom, that's exactly where the fans line up, so I had to move the top 2 up. I could get away with probably 1 or 2 bolts on this thing, but I figured, well, I've got the bolts, I may as well use them all. And this is what it looks like on the back side. So I'll just pull it out. And as you can see, I've mounted the board straight to the back of the door. And this gives me full access for whenever work needs to be done. I got the 4 fans in there. The board that I've got on the back actually is tight to these fins, just as it was from factory. The fans are still working fine. There's none of them have shorted out. And then I do have that larger fan down there pushing a little bit of air to try and cool the entire unit down back to where it should be. So everything's good. I will be leaving the door off for now, but it's nicely lined up. And one thing I will point out, when you do attach the piece of wood to the door, on the corners here, you're going to have to actually shave a little bit of extra boarding off the corners of the board, so it'll fit nice and snug. And it will fit snug up to these fans, and up to nice and tight to the fins. So hopefully this will take care of it. I haven't checked on the temperature of the fridge in about an hour. Last I checked, I believe it was around 42, 43. So we'll check on it in another hour and see how she goes.
So the first thing they replaced was something called a thermistor?
Yeah, they replaced the thermistor because apparently they tested it and it was bad. So they replaced it.
And our temperature didn't change.
Nothing happened. We're still sitting at 60 degrees Fahrenheit in the fridge. And, well, they came back, they replaced the main board.
And I think that helped a little bit.
It helped a little bit, yes, but there was another issue. When they replaced the board, the propane took over and it would not switch over to electric. So there's another problem.
So then they came back and they replaced the entire guts of the fridge.
The cooling unit. It was a 2-man job for 3 hours. They did a great job. They knew what they were doing. I've spoken with the guys about it in detail. Yeah, it was a long, arduous job.
And here's some clips on that. So the fridge saga continues. Traveline came by and they replaced something called a thermistor. Don't really know what that is. Then they replaced the board. And our fridge still was not coming up. It was hanging around 48, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Not a good temperature for the inside of the fridge. Good thing we had the beer fridge for backup. And today's the day they came and replaced, yeah, that's them working. They came and replaced the cooling unit, which basically is the whole back side of the fridge. So they had to remove it from where it lives. And the guys are in here working. They came in at, well, this is an after hours project. So they were scheduled to come here, be here at 6. They got here about 6:30.
Busy boys.
Huh?
They're busy.
They're busy. They have lots of things that they're doing. Right now, Brent needs to go to bed. It's his bedtime. Our fridge doors are hanging out at the end of the bed. And we'll take you around and show you the rest of it. Our fridge is lying on the floor. They're working on it. Brent is measuring in case this doesn't work. No, you do not fit in the fridge cavity, Brent. In case this doesn't work and something else goes wrong, then we'll have dimensions.
If we eventually down the road, we might go to a 110 fridge.
So a residential fridge.
Because we never use propane.
No.
This one is a two-way fridge, so.
Yeah.
It's the one that came with the unit. It's been great up until now. It's been 2.5 years, so everything's been going great.
It's that 46 degrees in Vernon that killed it.
Yeah, 46 Celsius. That does a lot of fridges.
And we didn't get a lot of reprieve from that. So there's the fridge cavity without the fridge. And Brent has to make some adjustments to the board. So he's going to make it smaller.
I'm going to make this about 2 inches shorter. Take out this top part.
Because in a previous video we had talked about when you took it out.
Just for add a little bit of extra airflow as per the service tech Daryl. And that should help it work a little bit more efficient.
Just his name. Okay, so we'll let him do his work and we'll report back once we get this fridge stuck back in the wall. So this is what it used to live in the back of our fridge. Apparently it is fried. Despite them replacing parts on it, the whole thing just did not do well after our experience with the heat wave back in early July. And we've been struggling with it ever since. It is August 17th and we are getting a whole new unit put into the back of our fridge. So essentially we're getting a new fridge and we'll see how it goes. So they got that all fixed up and replaced.
Yeah.
And he had to come back a couple more times. What was that for?
Minor adjustments for the door flap for the bottom part. Had to just put a couple extra washers in the door to jack it up a little bit so the door flap would close in the center. If any of you are familiar with the 12 cubic foot 4-door fridge.
So
not a big deal. It just something that had to be done.
It didn't want to switch back off propane right away though.
That was a board issue. Apparently there was a blown fuse on the new board that was put in.
Okay.
Minor issue, but stuff happens.
Yeah, and so having gone through all of that, we realized that our original fridge cooling unit was probably not 100% when we first got it. Because now the fridge is keeping things so cold.
It actually freezes bread now.
In the
Ice
freezer.
cream stays cold for a week.
Woohoo!
Oh, that's gold for me.
And I noticed that when I took some chicken breasts out of the freezer, it didn't unthaw. I could put it in the fridge for the day so it wouldn't go bad sitting on the counter, and it was still frozen at night.
Mm-hmm.
When I
The freezer is acting like it should now. We didn't realize it because we were first-time RV buyers for the last 2.5 years, and we had a unit that was underperforming, and now we know that there's a wide range of performance as far as the fridge goes.
Yeah, so we're really pleased with we were actually thinking about maybe switching to an all-electric fridge.
We thought about it, yes.
But with this, it was just like, he asked us at the last minute, oh, are you thinking you might actually go electric? And it's like, we're not ready to make that change or that decision.
We didn't have $1,100 to throw out right now.
Yeah, and I don't think that would be covered under warranty.
No, that would not be covered.
Yeah, I think that's a total change. So, yeah, we decided to, no, just put in the new unit, and it's working.
Get her done.
Fantastic.
Yes, we're really happy with it.
So, that's all we wanted to talk to you about this week.
So give us a thumbs up if you like what you see.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And ring that bell for notifications.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
When we left Spruce Grove,